Well, good morning, everyone. It's 11:30. We're going to go ahead and kick off the pre-commission portion of our meeting today. Just quick, short president's report today. I just wanted to say thank you to our staff for kicking off our first public hearing today on our first ordinance that we're reviewing. So looking forward to that discussion with you all and the cities that tune in and participate. I do want to just share too that the draft access policy is going to go out for our community partners this week. And I wanted to, it's come up in several conversations already about the fact that we have not formalized our pathways, having pathways beyond our arterials into policy. And that's something that I'd like to explore next, especially given the fact that there's been some questions about where we measure the start of those pathways and the width of those pathways, and needing it obviously to be flexible based off of our right-of-way and all of those things. So I think having that clarity and having those work sessions coming up will be really helpful. So be working with staff on that. And I think that's, you have a question, Commissioner?
I have a question.
Go for it.
You know that the state law does not allow us to have anything to do with any pathways outside of our right-of-way.
Right.
Okay.
That's not what I'm referring to. Yeah, just the ones that are within our right-of-way. Perfect. And then I know Commissioner Hanson has some questions or thoughts to share, but I'll turn it over to the rest of the commission if you have any other questions.
It's great. No, I have a couple of things I want to raise. The director might get at them in the director's report. Yeah, the question on the pathways is important because we had some discussion with our neighborhood leaders in Southwest on how we count the space, and I didn't realize we count it from the middle of the pathway to the edge of the driving lane rather than buffer is the buffer, you know, between the edge of the pathway and the travel lane. The other is because of the safety issues on 16th where it goes under the underpass on the highway 16th, and it is a dangerous place, especially on a bright sunny day. It's kind of the reverse on you'd think, oh, at nighttime. Actually, because there's such a contrast between the shade and the bright sun, and we can expect people cross, not at the crosswalks, they cross back and forth. There's services for people who are unhoused on various sides of the road. There's the bike park, the skate park, and so I think we have to do something in order to slow the traffic. It's also one way, 3 lanes, heading south. If there's no traffic, it is speed city, and they can't react in time when they spot someone slowly walking across the street, and that's what happened the other day. So I think that something to slow traffic down and to alert them of the dangers of what they're going to be experiencing as soon as they go under that underpass. So I just wanted to make sure that if we could start some discussion on that is as critical as some of the other places we've seen. Great session with the Bike Advisory Committee. There was a little confusion though, which I'm sure you got from the Bike Advisory Committee, as to whether the delineator's job is to delineate or to protect. And it's to delineate, not to protect. And so then the concern obviously is, well, shouldn't we talk about protection first and then delineation? Or a little concern about, are we going to have just stop at delineating? Because the big fear, of course, is that as soon as we start putting some of these up that are easily knocked down, easily run over, they'll be destroyed pretty quick. The other is that I was sorry to see that the Zoom thing didn't work, so I hope that gets fixed because I know that other commissioners wanted to listen. It was a really good conversation about a number of topics, including the Compass gave a presentation on bike counting. And I know that the commercial developers meeting is tomorrow. I don't think there's a field trip associated with that, so I want to make sure we're good on the hybrid Zoom and in-person meetings. And that's it.
Thanks, Commissioner. We'll look into it. All right, if there's no other questions about my report, any other housekeeping items that the commission would like to address? Any questions about today's agenda? Commissioner Hanson.
Madam President, I appreciate the director answering my question. Dave Serdar's here. That one item we have on the consent agenda is basically a cul-de-sac that was created. We got property. There's 3 pieces of property that are affected. This will notice it up for a hearing as to one of them, but we should get rid of the other 2, Dave, at the same time, because it serves no purpose to have half a cul-de-sac. So I hope that we can do that between now and the time we set the public hearing and figure out how to do that without insisting that they come up with $5,000, the 2 property owners together. So figure that out. Always good to get rid of property that the public has no use for, and it doesn't need to be on the public.
Okay. If there's no
Thanks.
other questions, turn over to the director for his report.
Madam President, Commissioners, thank you and good morning. First and foremost, 2 major announcements. Today and tomorrow are 2 very special days here at the Ada County Highway District. Today, we will be celebrating both birthdays for Commissioner Pickering today and Commissioner Gold for tomorrow. Commissioner Pickering, we do have a very special Kentucky Derby celebration pie over here of huckleberry and peaches. And then we have a very large chocolate fudge cake. So at the end of the director's report, if you wouldn't mind coming off the dais, and we'll cut some up and help yourself, and we'll go from there. There's also some very interesting popcorn on the side for all of you. As you know, last week we hosted the first annual Bring Your Child to Work Day from the COVID. Communications has put together a very short video that I'd like to share with you that gives you a little bit of insight of what happened. And we've got just about all the repairs done now, all that, but no. Commissioners, it was incredibly successful. No parents were injured in the making of the event. And just so you know, in past Bring Your Child to Work days, we actually have team members now as team members here at the Ada County Highway District who participated years ago in the Bring Your Child to Work Day event. So it's incredibly successful and such. Commissioners, just a reminder, on May 18th, the State of the City of Boise, Mayor McLean will be presenting that. I will have tickets, I think, later on this afternoon, tomorrow. If you do want to attend, please let me know so I can get you those tickets up front. It'll be at Jump Center, 4 o'clock, and Commissioner Gold, I've already got you covered on that. In front of you, we also have the Idaho's Business Reviews upcoming breakfast series, and it's on transportation. You might note the panelists there. So if you are interested, please let either myself or Peggy know, and we'll make the arrangements going forward on this. Should be very, very interesting. Next, in front of you is the walking contest for the Ada County Highway District, starting on Monday. Please, if you'd like to participate, please let our HR department know. This is another issue for wellness for the commission. I let everybody know that on Monday and Tuesday, I've already logged, I think it's 14.5 miles, and such. So I'm more than happy to, any of you would like to jump on board, that would be absolutely great. But this is going to be a big deal. And you might find on one of these days, if I'm not mistaken, there is a bring your pet and walk your pet here at the Ada County Highway District. So it should be a lot of fun. In front of you also is the impact fee update. I know that Christine will be giving you that presentation a little earlier, but you can see where all the cities are doing right now. And as of today, of course, the city of Meridian is leading when it comes down to residential, or having more residential impact, and the city of Boise is having the greatest impact regarding commercial. I raised this with you, I believe, last week, but still today, the impact fee investments in the Ada County Highway District are 30% behind what they were at this time last year, and commercial is leading on a 2-to-1 ratio of those dollars that are coming in over residential, which is very interesting depending upon how impact fees and property taxes are distributed currently in the state, with the majority of them being focused on the residential side. So anyway, if you'd like to review this at your leisure, please do. In front of you is a design of what we were doing with the Emerald Street project. It's this one right, and what we wanted to show you is where the expansions are going to be, how it's going to look, that sort of thing, and give you just a good idea to take a look at what our internal design team has done moving forward. I don't know specifically when we're going to start construction, but I'll have that for you here shortly. But at your leisure, if you have any questions, please let either myself or Ryan know, or Christy sitting in the chair know. Right now, I'll be more than happy to answer them very, very quickly for you. So commissioners, that is my director's report today. If you have any questions, and if not, I would invite the birthday celebrations to come over and cut a piece of pie and cake and enjoy what we have here.
Thank you, Director. Any questions for the Director? Okay, thank you. We'll recess until noon. Thank you. Well, good afternoon. It's 12 o'clock. I'm going to go ahead and call the meeting to order. Welcome everyone in line and in person. Please join us in standing for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. The first order of business is to adopt the agenda.
So moved.
So moved and seconded. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. Next order of business is to adopt the consent agenda. Items on the consent agenda are considered routine and are action items unless otherwise noted. The consent agenda is enacted by one motion. There is no separate discussion on items on the consent agenda. If a commissioner or citizen would like, they may request any item be removed from the consent agenda and placed on the regular agenda. If we do not have any such requests, I will stand for a motion.
We do have such requests. I made the request on Friday via email that items number 3, 4, 5, and 6 be moved to the regular agenda.
Okay. Is that a motion to move that?
Yes, I would like those moved.
Okay. Is that to approve the consent and move those?
Yes, we'll go ahead and approve the consent agenda with those 4 items moved to the regular agenda.
Okay, I'll second.
And that's seconded. All right, any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. All right, moving on to, and we'll place those on, is that okay, Ken, if that's item number 4 on the regular agenda?
You bet.
Okay. 4, 5, and 6, yes. Yes, we'll start the series as item number 4. Okay, moving on to the regular agenda. The first item on the agenda is the fiscal year 23 quarter 2 impact fee program balance. Welcome, Christine. For being here.
Madam President, Commissioners, for the record, Christine Tandler, Budget Manager for the Highway District. Here to present the second quarter program balance for the Impact Fee Program. Year-to-date summary. Sorry, this is visually a lot different than our other ones look. They're just thrown off a little bit. So we began fiscal year 23 with a $9.7 million balance. And we're ending second quarter March 31st, 2023 at 8.2 million. Some significant costs to those are related to right-of-way, specifically on the Lake Hazel corridor. As you can see, Lake Hazel intersections are the top 3 main impact fee projects, as well as the current Locust Grove, Victory to Overland, and Locust Grove and Victory intersection that are now under construction. The extraordinary impact fees, we began the year at 2.8 million, and we're ending the second quarter at just under 3 million. Bulk of that being the West Foothills, well, not a bulk, almost all of it being the West Foothills. And then as they continue to build out in the Dry Creek Ranch area, we will be having expenditures there. So that will be paid down. And in accordance with the amended ordinance and resolution 2331, I report an impact fee program balance of 8.2 million. I will stand for questions.
Thanks, Christine. Commissioners, any questions?
I'm saving all mine for July.
Yay. I said it for you. No, I'm
Thank
kidding.
you. Yay.
Well, if there's no other questions, thank you, Christine.
That was good.
All right. Moving on to item number 2. Ordinance 249, amending Title II, Section 7101.6.7 of the Ada County Highway District Code on the item of standing. So, could we change the screen there? Perfect. So, if you remember, we talked about this work session. We went back and developed so we're presenting two different options for you all for consideration today. And then Mr. Price just shared those. The one was attached in the agenda, but I'll just turn over to Steve.
Thank you, Madam President, Commissioners. For the record, Steve Price, General Counsel. Madam President, thank you for the introduction. This has been in the works for probably what, 5 weeks, 4 weeks? And if you recall, the one option was number one, Ada County taxing districts, including cities or the county and Valley Region, shall have automatic standing. And the second one was to remove the inclusion of all taxing districts, but it included Valley Regional Transit, and it also includes an option for other local governmental entities to request a waiver of the section. So,
and I forgot, this is a public hearing, so I'm going to go ahead and
yes,
open that public hearing. Thank you.
So with that, open it up for any questions you may have of me.
Commissioner Goldthorpe.
Yes. With the automatic standing, would that allow any of these entities to ask for hearing or reconsideration or something that they're not directly attached to? And I'll just give an example. Recently, the county approved the beginning stages of the Spring Rock development down in Kuna. And the city wasn't interested in that going forward. They produced a letter. Let's say that was us, and whatever our decision was, one of these entities other than the county, because that would be in the county, would say, I'd like that to be reconsidered, or I have an objection to it, or would this allow any of those entities to object or ask for reconsideration of something that they're not directly attached to?
Madam President, Commissioner Goldthorpe, right now they have the ability under current policy to file for reconsideration, whether it's in their area or not.
Okay, because I've never seen that happen, and
we never have it. Excuse me, Madam President, it never has happened. And typically, I don't think it's a big risk because they're only going to be appealing to the extent that it impacts their governmental entity. So you can't have a sewer district in Kuna asking for standing on a development application in Boise. I just don't think that's something that we would see.
Wouldn't go very far anyway, I'm sure, but yeah, okay.
Madam President.
Commissioner McKinney.
Steve, could you sort of talk about the differences between these two, and let's just sort of the option one and option two, kind of what's the importance of the difference in the language? For example, in option one, we say Ada County taxing districts, and then we specifically mention cities, the county, and Valley Regional Transit. In the second one, we just say Ada County and the cities and Valley Regional Transit have automatic standing. I know we've kind of talked about that already, but could you kind of flesh that out a little bit?
Sure, Madam President, Commissioner McKinney, if you recall, I guess I'm to blame for including taxing districts, but when I draft policy, I explained last time, I try and make it inclusive of, so nobody's left out that would have a reason to request standing. And that's why I included the taxing districts, but I wanted to make sure everybody knew that included the cities and the county. And Valley Regional Transit, who is not, that is the one that is not a taxing district, and that's why that is included. But really the difference is, option number one is very, very broad. It includes everybody essentially that's a taxing district, and option number two, we get rid of the taxing districts. It's much more limiting, just Ada County, the cities, and Ada County, the cities and Valley Regional Transit, they'll have automatic standing, no taxing districts. But if there are any local governments that have an issue, then they can ask the commission for a waiver, which is currently authorized under current policy.
So what would be an example of an entity that's a taxing district but not a local government entity?
Sewer district.
Okay. Likewise, I imagine water districts as well, irrigation
Drainage
districts. Okay.
Yeah.
So option number 2 is narrower and doesn't include as many entities. Even with the request for waiver aspect, that second sentence of option number 2 allows a request for a waiver. So an irrigation district, for example, or a sewer district would not, under option number 2, be able to request a waiver.
Madam President, well, I suppose that it excludes the state of Idaho, which I believe that was an issue that came up. But I think that the districts, they can ask a waiver. They don't have automatic standing.
Well, I guess
They're not a local governmental entity, and I'm assuming that a sewer district is not a local governmental entity by definition. It doesn't have an elected board.
mhm.
But they would still have the ability, like they do now, to ask for a waiver and request to be able to appeal a decision on a development application.
So it sounds like what you're saying is that even though the second sentence of option 2 is narrower and refers to just local governmental entities, you're saying that these other taxing districts would still be able to request a waiver.
Madam President, Commissioner McKinney, as long as they're,
Oh, I see. So like you say, something like a sewer district would not fall into that category.
that is correct.
Okay.
They don't have an elected governing board, then they're not a local governmental entity.
Mm-hmm.
And those entities would not be able to request standing. But I'll tell you, in 22 years, I've never seen them do that on a development application. We kind of forget that in this discussion. This is about a development application that somebody, this doesn't include all of the other or policies that we have. This is just very much focused on a development application.
Thanks, Steve. Any other questions? Okay. Thanks, Steve. Peggy, is there anyone online that would like to testify to this issue? I see we've got representation from the city of Boise. Welcome.
Well, tired of hearing from me yet. Bree Brush, City of Boise Mayor's Office. Madam President, Commissioners, thank you for taking up this issue. I think most of you remember 2 years ago when this became a problem. But typically we have a great working relationship with staff and with yourselves. We're able to work out things on the development side quickly and come to really great solutions. But there are rare exceptions like we saw a few years ago, typically in situations where maybe the developer is not in agreement with either or both of us. So we appreciate the opportunity to have recourse and get that addressed. That's all.
Thank you, Bree. Any questions for the city? Commissioner Hanson.
Madam President and Bree, I assume you don't mind which option because the city's covered under both.
Correct. Thank you, Bree. And I did hear from the city of Meridian, and they were also very emphatically in support of either option. Okay. If there is no one else online that would like to testify at this time, I'm going to go ahead and close. Oh, Commissioner Steve.
Madam President, I just have one thing. I'm gonna, after looking at this, there's a couple of places that I would request to put or instead of and.
Okay.
So it would read Ada County taxing districts, including cities or the county, or instead of and Valley Regional Transit. And that's the same in option 2, Ada County,
And
the cities of Ada County or Valley Regional Transit shall.
all right. With that though, I'm gonna go ahead and close the public hearing. All right, commissioners, we've heard from staff, heard from cities. Any questions or thoughts or motion?
Madam President, unless someone else has any thoughts, both of them seem to work. The only issues we've had are mostly with the land use authorities and the issue that arose 2 years ago. So just opting for the slightly more narrow one, I would move to adopt the ordinance with option number 2.
I'll second that.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. Any discussion, or for option 2?
With the clarification of the typos that we have Ada County, comma, cities of Ada County, or Valley Regional Transit, et cetera. So that the.
Mine
type-
says "and the cities." Did you want to remove "and" as well?
I think it's comma.
Comma, okay, got it. Okay. Thank you, Commissioner Hanson. Thanks, Commissioner Goldthorpe. Any discussion? Commissioner McKinney?
Yes, just, and I'm sorry, I'm not trying to nitpick here, but it seems to me that if we're getting rid of that first "and" putting a comma, now we're making a list. So it should say Ada County, comma, the cities of Ada County and Valley Regional Transit shall have automatic standing. If we're changing it to "or," we don't want to get rid of the "and," it seems to me. I know this is just kind of nitpicking grammar here. Which should it be?
Uh-oh, 2 lawyers going after it.
Well, I want to get it right, so thank you, Commissioner McKinney.
Madam President, Commissioner McKinney, it would be Ada County, comma, the cities of Ada County, and.
So yes, we leave that.
Get rid of
It's the "and" in option number 1, and
Get rid
the
of the
first
first-
"and" in option number 2 that need to be.
Okay, got it. Thanks, Commissioner. Thanks,
So
Commissioner
does my
McKinney.
second.
Any additional questions,
Madam
Commissioner McKinney?
President?
Yes, over here.
Commissioner Gold?
So the only other, taxing district that we didn't mention in today's discussion would be the urban renewal districts. So, as I'm understanding it, option 2 just includes county, city, and VRT, and then reiterates our existing policy with the second sentence, is that correct? Yeah,
Which I think is an improvement over what currently exists.
right.
And then I'm happy to vote for, motion in the affirmative for the motion. I just am more inclined to support option 1, just because I don't think the indication that we haven't had these other taxing districts approach us for a waiver isn't indicative of an issue. And I'm more of the mindset that having a little bit more wide open allows that free flowing of issues or whatever. And I think that's also a barrier, is the confusion around that standing. So I'm more inclined to vote for option 1, but I can understand the desire of the commission to support option number 2. So I'm happy to vote in support of it. That's all right. It's okay. All right. Well, any other discussion before I call for the vote? Okay. It's been moved and seconded to support option number 2, and I'm just gonna read it out loud. Ada County, comma, the cities of Ada County and Valley Regional Transit shall have automatic standing to appeal a final decision. This is a development decision. Any other local government entities in Ada County may request the commission to waive this section of the policy manual to establish standing for an appeal. All right, all those in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you all for that. Thanks, Steve. Moving on to item number 3. Authorization and order of condemnation of parcel number 28, Lake Hazel Road and Cloverdale Road intersection. Welcome, Mr. Sirdar.
Thank you, Madam President, Commission.
And this is also a public hearing. Thank you. I'm gonna go ahead and open the public hearing.
Thank you, Madam President, Commissioners. For the record, this, David Sirdar, right-of-way supervisor. This is a decision briefing for a property on San Luis Way in Boise, Idaho. This project, this is for the Lake Hazel and Cloverdale intersection, and it's part of ACHD's integrated 5-year work plan. Construction is scheduled to begin on this intersection in 2026. The property is owned by the Elsies, and here is the location of the property. This map depicts the area of the larger area of the project. We have the Lake Hazel. It's kind of on the north side of the map, or the top side. This is directly across the street from the golf course. I know the commission's been informed about the Islamic Center. That's up just a couple properties to the north. This is the more close-up of the property in question, of the specific property. The yellow is the fee acquisition, which we'll need for the road improvements. The red is for a permanent easement, which would also include slope in this case. And the green, kind of light green, is actually temporary construction easements. So the district wouldn't have a permanent interest in those two pieces of property. Oops, hit the wrong button. The property size before the acquisition is 0.85 acres, and the size after is 0.80 acres. The property is currently zoned residential. ACHD completed an appraisal in June of 2022, and an offer was made shortly after that. For the next 9 months, discussions occurred between the property owner and ACHD. Major sticking points in negotiations have been price and an unpermitted access to Cloverdale Road that creates a unsafe situation for traffic pulling into that driveway. In February of this year, we sent out a 10-day letter after many emails between the parties and discussions, said that we were reaching an impasse. And on March 27th, after further emails and discussions, we actually told the property owner that we were going to move forward with the condemnation action. It is staff recommendation that we declare the acquisition area as necessary for the project as a right-of-way and public use, authorize staff to proceed with the condemnation action, and execute an order of condemnation for the acquisition area.
Thank you, Dave. Commissioners, any questions? Commissioner
Yes.
Goldthorpe.
Could you go back to the picture of the property? Yes, where the red is at the top, that looks like an open space there, and then there's that brown square and the other square. Is that a building?
Madam President, Commissioner Goldthorpe, just to the, what would be the east side there of the is a building. It's actually a garage that has been built.
My question is, because you indicated that the permanent easement would contain slope, I imagine the slope is heading to the east.
Correct.
The only reason I bring this up is because of my own personal home and property. I have a situation that the slope doesn't butt up to a building, it butts up to my backyard, which floods frequently because that easement gets full of sand from the winter and all kinds of other stuff. And are we creating a problem here for that garage?
Well, Madam President, Commissioner Goldthorpe, that is actually one of the reasons that we are at an impasse on this.
Okay.
Not so much because we know that slope, if we were to provide the access like the property owner wants, we would actually facilitate that slope. I think Diane's got more of the engineering questions to be answered.
We will ensure, Madam President, for the record, Diane Bevins, Manager of Capital Projects, Commissioner Goldthorpe, we will ensure that it is does not create, a stormwater or water issue for that building, that we can ensure that we will not create an issue.
Well, I don't disbelieve anyone. I think that is absolutely essential.
Yes.
When we decide to do that and engineer it, I would love to see how that happens, because I'm probably gonna try to do something myself in our right of way to fix my own situation.
I think in this situation, it helps that there's gonna be curb and gutter and the multi-use pathway before the slope.
Oh, okay. Well, in my mind, then that fixes it already.
Madam
Thanks.
President,
Hold on, Commissioner Goldthorpe, any other questions? Thanks, Diane. Commissioner McKinney?
while Diane is still here, let me, or maybe both of you could answer this question. Dave, you mentioned the access issue and an improper access. Can you sort of show us on this map where that is and what exactly is involved in that issue?
Okay. Madam President, Commissioner McKinney, they have a door on this side of the shop that faces Cloverdale, as well as internally to their lot. And today, with it only being 2 lanes, and there's no curb and gutter, there's no restriction of access. So they have been freely using that additional area, off the shoulder, to be able to pull into, yes. Can I pass this around? So when we come through with the project, because they don't have the proper setbacks from the property line, we are not able to provide a driveway where they could pull in off, outside of the right of way, essentially. There's not an area for them to pull into a driveway to get off the multi-use pathway, to get out of the lane, which is the safety issue that it creates. So we are providing an access here where the green is. That's why that temporary construction easement is there to slope the driveway down into their yard. And they do have access from their addressed street, a local road, to access the shop. We are not preventing them from using or accessing their shop from their property, their property side.
Okay, so basically, we've got a situation, it's a residential property, about 0.8 acres, and it currently has a double fronting situation. Is that correct? So they've got access off of Cloverdale Road, and they've got access from, whatever that other street is.
San Luis Way.
And so because of this, as a result of this project, they will still have an access off of Cloverdale Road, but it won't be directly into that garage door. It'll be into the western portion of the property. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay. All right, good. I'm glad to hear that. Thank you.
Any other questions for staff?
Just one.
Commissioner Goldthorpe?
When I just saw the picture with the big door on the shop there, I'm wondering, was there an access to Cloverdale granted when that was built?
Madam President, Commissioner Goldthorpe, no, there was not.
Thanks, Steve. I try to ask some intelligent questions once in a while.
No, you're just saving them up in July.
Yeah.
Okay. Other questions? Thanks, staff. Peggy, is there any member of the public or the or the other party? There's nobody. Okay. All right, with that, I'm gonna go ahead and close the public hearing. And then can we go to the slide with the recommendation, the staff recommendation? Thank you. All right, commissioners.
Madam President,
Commissioner McKinney.
I move that we authorize execution of the order of condemnation for parcel number 28, Lake Hazel Road and Cloverdale Road intersection.
Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. Any discussion? Commissioner Hanson.
My only comment that, yeah, Cloverdale's gonna be a major through fare, goes all the way down to Cunamora Road. This is where 5 lanes is justified. I don't see that on 5 Mile or Maple Grove, but I just wanna make that point. And we still need to fix those. The other is, there's a tendency to use the word improve when we don't need to, because it says widening and improve. It's just a widening. Whether it is or isn't an improvement depends on who's using it. So it's a term, I think, that is unnecessary in documents like these, and I like to see that word gone. Just describe what we're doing and let other, the outsiders decide whether that's an improvement or not an improvement. When CUNA increases its population, double or triple, there'll be a lot of congestion on this road regardless of whether it's 5 lanes or not, so, thanks.
Any other discussion? All right, moved and seconded. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. All right, and now item number 4, which was previously item number 3 on the consent agenda.
And if you wish, the discussion probably ought to include all 4 of those items.
Steve, do you mind coming up? Thank you.
Here he comes.
Thank you, Madam President. Steve Price, General Counsel, for the record. When you move those to commissioners, when you move those to the regular agenda, they all continue to be separate agenda items, and will require a separate motion on all of those. So now it'll be item number 4 will be start with consent agenda item number 3, and so on.
So so with that, we can, have a discussion about the interagency agreement with the City of Nampa and Nampa Highway District for Franklin Road, McDermott Road to Black Cat Road. So, could we have staff talk about the funding piece, because that's what your question's about, right?
Yes, I absolutely have no questions whatsoever with regards to the future necessity of these projects. As I mentioned 30 days ago, my concern is that we don't have the money yet to pay for it, for any of these. So my objection to them is strictly financial. We delayed this 30 days because we expected some conversation with ITD and to see what was happening with the money flowing from the state. We do know the money has flowed from the state to ITD for these projects for all of that $36 million, and have yet to see anything of that. So I am just as concerned today as I was a month ago. And my only motion is going to be that these be deferred again for whatever amount of time anybody wants, but for at least until we receive those funds from ITD.
Thanks, Commissioner Goldthorpe. Do we have any other updates on, outside of those details, do we have any other updates on when to expect the money for these projects?
I was hoping you'd show up with a check in your hand today.
Where's Joe? Come on back. Madam President, Commissioners, I have been in discussions with the Director and the COO of ITD these last couple weeks. I have a meeting with them this Friday at 7 o'clock in the morning. The meeting is to hopefully come to a final set of facts as to when, where, how. There's a ITD has suggested there may be an additional step that we may need to take, small step as it is. But like I said, that meeting's at 7 o'clock Friday. And that's the extent of the extra discussions I've had.
Wow.
So if the commission wants to defer, the majority of the commission wants to defer, then my request would be 1 week to next week. But I will say that I'm confident that this will all work out, and such as we move forward.
Okay, I'll just be asking the same thing then next week, because my attitude and concerns aren't gonna change, especially in light of the fact there might be another small hiccup coming after Friday.
Okay. Well, this is an action item, so there's a potential motion on the floor. Did you want to make that motion?
Yeah, I'll make that
Commissioner?
motion that we defer a decision on item number 4 of the regular agenda until such time as we receive funding from the state of Idaho that was promised under the bill passed by the legislature.
I'll second that.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? Commissioner Gold.
Thanks, Madam President. I did notice that at least one of the, agreements has like a 90-day time frame on it. So that would probably be coming up. Is that ringing a bell to anybody over there? No? Okay. Okay. If that doesn't sound familiar, then never mind.
Okay. All right, so moved and seconded to defer, item number 4, previously item number 3 on the consent agenda to a date uncertain. Is that correct, Commissioner?
Yes.
Okay.
Wait, was the motion to defer to a date uncertain or to defer for 1 week?
Defer to a date, to the time we have those funds in hand.
That's different than your motion.
Well, it definitely wasn't gonna be for 1 week.
Okay. Commissioner McKinney, do you still?
I would, I guess I have to withdraw my second, because I would prefer to simply take it week by week. And if we need to defer for 1 week, we defer for 1 week, and then next week, if we still don't have the money, we can defer for another week.
That's okay, we'll accomplish the same thing.
Yeah, it'll only take 2 minutes of discussion to change that when the money comes in.
Yeah.
So it seems to me if we just go week by week, so let's just, if you would be willing to modify your motion to defer for 1 week,
Sure.
I'll second that.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. Any other discussion? Commissioner, okay, all those in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed?
Let's make the same motion for the other 3 without discussion.
Okay, so Commissioner Goldthorpe has moved to defer,
Item number 5 in the same manner.
is that okay,
Second.
Steve? Okay,
1 week.
perfect. And is there a second?
Second.
Second. All right, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any
Yeah.
opposed?
And a motion to defer item number 6 in the same manner as 4 and 5.
Okay. Is there-
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Okay, and then one more.
A motion to defer item number 7 in the same manner as items number 4, 5, and 6.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Perfect. All right, thanks, commissioners. All right, so that is the end of our regular agenda. Next order is public communications. Is there anyone online, Peggy? Okay, will there be no further business before the commission? The meeting is adjourned. Thank you.